Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal. AMD stock has been under pressure after earnings. So I did this price projection or price range analysis that gives new price range for AMD that should be valid before next earnings. This will help you guys decide when to buy and when to sell to increase the returns before the next earnings. Now, let's get started. Starting with the financials, I put together the summary of the financials data for last 7 quarters in all of these areas for AMD. And also I have year over year comparison and quarter over quarter comparison for the latest quarter. I mean the last quarter they released the earnings. So if you take a look in all of these areas, AMD did a decent job. You see, revenue went up from Q1 to Q2, and the quarter over quarter increase is 6.6%, and also year over year revenue increase as well. And also net income, you see, went up in the last quarter, and also profit margin percentages also went up in the last quarter. EPS also went up about 11% quarter over quarter, and year over year is 18.9%. Free cash flow per share also went up. Debt to equity ratio went down, and that's a good sign. So, overall, the financials look good for AMD. Now, let's take a look at EPS and forward PE. In this table, I put together the earning projections and the earning actuals for last 8 quarters, including the latest quarter, I mean the last quarter. And you see that earnings surprised about 2% in the last quarter. And that's not bad, looking at the historical data. AMD, historically speaking, has not done a very big earnings surprise, unlike Nvidia. So less than 5% on average, right? So about 2% the last quarter is not bad. Next 4 quarters, the earnings projection you see in this table, and that looks very good. That's about 35% earnings growth from Q3 2024 through Q2 2025. That's even better than Nvidia. So from the earnings point of view, things look good. Now let's take a look forward PE and try to do price range and the price projection analysis for AMD. In this table, I put together the adjusted closing price for AMD for last 1 month, and also I calculated the EPS forward, and that is basically the last quarter's earnings actuals plus next 3 quarters earning projections. And also I have calculated EPS trailing 12 months, and that is last 4 quarters of earning actuals. And then I calculated the P ratio with respect to trailing 12 months EPS and also P ratio with respect to EPS forward. And we also call it forward P ratio. Another table I have here, in this table I put together the trailing P and the forward P for last 13 quarters, and also I calculated the mean, average, minimum and the maximum forward PE for last probably 6 or 7 quarters that are most relevant. And I excluded any outliers. For example, this one. The third table, I put together the EPS projections and the EPS actuals for last 13 quarters and the closing price on the earnings day. So using that, I calculated the earnings surprise for last 13 quarters as well. And also I calculate the mean, average, maximum, and the median earnings surprise for last 13 quarters, excluding any outliers. For example, this one. Okay, so I have enough data to calculate the price range or the price projections for AMD before the next earnings. So I did some math. So I have these calculations. So I use the same formula that I used in the last video for AMD, and that is EPS forward, the first factor, H4. The second factor, I have S32, that is a minimum forward PE, that is this one. And the third factor is the earnings surprise, the minimum value, and that is this guy, R39. So that gives me the minimum price for AMD, 120.02. And for the average, I use the same formula, except I'm using T32 as the average forward PE, and that is this guy. And the third factor I have is this one, that is S39, and that is this guy, average value of the earnings surprise. So using these three factors, I came up with the average price projections for AMD, that is 148.64. And for the maximum, same formula, except I'm using the forward P for the maximum value and also the earnings surprise maximum value, that is T39. That is this guy. Okay, so that gives me the maximum price projections for AMD, 173.90. So these price range are valid until next earnings. That should be due sometime in October, probably third week or fourth week in October. So in my opinion, AMD should not go below 120 before next earnings, and also should not go above 173 before next earnings. So AMD should be moving between these values. So for some reason, if AMD goes down, probably below 130 would be a very attractive buy. I'm not sure AMD can go down to that level before earnings or not. At this point, AMD is trading around, I guess, 148. Yes, the latest value was 148.56. So trading around between the average value. So in this week or probably next week, there is some chance AMD can go down a little bit. If it does, it should give you a good buy point to keep it for some time before earnings. I guess that's all about AMD price projection analysis before earnings. And also, I have uploaded this document in my Patreon account. So if you are an exclusive member, you can access this file from there. I hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more in the next video. Take care.